fellow Americans, it gives me great pleasure, and it is indeed a privilege, to have the opportunity to deliver this message on this momentous occasion. First of all, let me apologize for not being here personally to deliver this message to Scott and Jenny. Long ago, we scheduled a European cruise on the Carnival Sunshine. This, of course, means that at this time, given the usual reliability, or lack thereof, of that particular cruise line, I might be resting comfortably on my suite on the spa deck, or feverishly searching for a Ziploc bag so I can relieve myself, or there is even a remote possibility that this is being played for you posthumously. But whatever the case may be, I hope it finds Scott and Jenny well. Off we go. Throughout the years, the date of July 10th has carried great significance to mankind. Who can forget how, in 48 BC, on this date, Julius Caesar narrowly avoided a catastrophic defeat to the Macedonians in Pompeii, or the passing of Pope Benedict VI on July 10th, 983. Moving forward, the inauguration of Millard Fillmore following the untimely death of Zachary Taylor on July 10th, 1850 will never be forgotten. And more recently, New Zealand adopting the decimal currency system on July 10th, 1967, followed by an event many believed would never happen, the readmission of the South African cricket team into the International Cricket Council following the end of apartheid on July 10th, 1991, collectively convey the deep historical meaning of the 191st day on the Gregorian calendar. In a like manner, many truly great humans have come into the world on July 10th. Religious icon John Calvin, captain of industry Adolphus Bush, and groundbreaking athletic and civil rights hero Arthur Ashe all personify the excellence associated with this great date. But I think we can all agree that one particular July 10th tops them all. That would be, of course, that steaming July day in the year of our Lord, 1963, when Scott Evans Ritter entered our midst. All of you know Scott well, but for those of you unfamiliar with some of his most memorable contributions to society, please indulge me for a few moments as I attempt to memorialize Scott's most noteworthy accomplishments to you. Let me begin in the world of medicine. Many of you may be unfamiliar with Scott's groundbreaking contributions in this area during his formative years. It all began with Scott's time working at the Glenside, Pennsylvania, Roy Rogers. Here Scott, as he toiled diligently providing assorted sundries to the hungry citizens of Montgomery County, developed a debilitating case of Chinese rot on his hands. Many would have hung up their apron after such an attack, but not Scott. He soldiered forward, continuing his work while seeing his hands continue to crack and peel at an alarming rate, all in the interest of science. It was remarkable to see progress marching forward as therapy after therapy was tested and evaluated on Scott, making him a veritable human guinea pig. Through it all, Scott never lost his trademark smile or sense of humor. And today, because of Scott's vision and courage, millions of humans suffering from the formerly debilitating effects of Chinese rot are benefiting from scientific breakthroughs empowered by Scott's dedication to finding a cure to this dreaded disease. Scott's work in the areas of culture and the arts also cannot be understated. Most of us remember our college years for the lessons we learned, the friends we made, and the trials and tribulations of our youth. But Scott's years at Lafayette were marked by much, much more. A period of time demarcating a significant leap forward in the field of broadcasting. Never before had the world seen a radio personality intertwine the latest and greatest in rock music with esoteric topics such as commodity prices and foreign units of currency. Those clamoring to hear, say, an REM track, followed by an update on the price of zinc in Greek drachma, then perhaps the pulsating beat of the Ramones, and finally an update on pork belly futures on the Chicago Mercantile Exchange, had absolutely no place to turn until Scott busted free from the shackles and chains which, at that time, typecast media personalities into narrow, limited roles. Scott may not get the national credit attributed to the likes of Edward R. Murrow or Walter Cronkite. But the world is a better place as a result of Scott's innovative work. Demonstrating impressive versatility, Scott's prowess on the athletic fields is also legendary. Sporting a throwing arm, which would have wowed even the most highly chiseled athletes on the olive tree-lined grounds of ancient Olympia, Scott dazzled coaches like Gene Sawinski as he mowed down batter after batter on the Glenside Youth Athletic League diamond. That same seemingly hydraulically powered arm was also used to develop the innovative method of heaving a bowling ball into flight some 20 feet down the alley, as Scott routinely garnered turkey after turkey at Thunderbird Lanes in Glenside, Pennsylvania. And even today, defying Father Time in a display of longevity which makes athletes like George Blanda and Gordie Howe look like passing fads, Scott continues to dominate on the Adams Farm Hearts courts as he wins set after set in the world of senior mixed doubles, despite a rather pedestrian 2.5 United States Tennis Association ranking. Finally, allow me to close by taking a few moments to document Scott's most important contribution to our society, that being his work in an intellectual capacity. Plato, Socrates, Aristotle, or Copernicus, none of them formulated anything close to the groundbreaking theories Scott has honed and perfected during his lifetime. What are some of these, you may ask? Well, one perfect example is Scott's work in the area of consumer credit. By first acquiring various credit cards and then applying handwritten stickers to the credit cards to direct himself and others how to maximize the number of reward points or rebate dollars one receives from their everyday purchases, he generates a windfall of free airline flights, complimentary hotel stays, and ancillary household revenue, while simultaneously also maximizing his credit rating. In what many believe to be the ultimate show of respect, not unlike a card counter in a Las Vegas casino, Scott has been banned from opening an account with many of our nation's major financial institutions. But he considers this to be a true badge of courage. Scott's top scholarly talents were abundantly obvious to anyone who knew him during his primary school years. Several of his academic accomplishments in the Paul Wilson and Sheldon Irwine eras, as we Glenside Weldoners finally coined to mark Scott's time in his boyhood institution of learning, have been formally documented in several plaques strategically placed through the Glenside Weldon Elementary School. Sadly, those historical markers will soon be reduced to rubble as the specter of a wrecking ball looms large over that fine institution. But I trust each of us can and will retain our own personal memories of Scott's leadership in organizations such as the John J. Audubon Society in 4th grade. Here, as many of you surely recall, Scott impressed even the most ardent of bird supporters, his teacher, Mrs. Beckwith, as he single-handedly imposed his wills on the skies of Glenside to help restore the yellow-bellied sapsucker population to levels rivaling those of the species' salad days of the 1960s, a time when former Phillies great Johnny Callison, a Glenside resident as well, took him upon himself to also support this unique creature. Time is short, so let me close by offering a final thought, one of a serious nature. According to the Gospel of Matthew, where in the Sermon on the Mount, Jesus offered many of the central tenets of Christian discipleship, the Son of God spoke about people being the salt of the earth. Salt is healing. Salt is pure. Salt generates flavor. And salt acts as a preservative, improving and protecting the substances it comes in contact with. Jesus encouraged all of us to incorporate these values into our daily lives. Both Scott and his loving wife Jenny are unequivocally people who are indeed the salt of the earth. Through the years, they have both tirelessly served and supported their 3 children. John, Matt, and Patrick are a testament to the love and guidance of their parents. Jenny and Scott are both active in the community, generously giving their time and talents to help others by participating in the God's Garage program and other similar endeavors under the aegis of Sedgefield Presbyterian Church. Vocationally, Jenny works in one of the most vital fields of all, helping to develop and teach the youth of America. Scott has continued the work and legacy of both his father and grandfather, making both of them beam with pride. I know all of us are delighted to have both Jenny and Scott as part of our family, for, like salt, their presence improves and enhances all of our lives in a plethora of ways. May God bless both Jenny and Scott on the occasion of their 50th birthday. And may God bless America. Good night.